Okay, so we're gonna call our meeting to order. It is Monday, November the 17th. It is 9:02. Oh, 2025. Okay, so I guess the first thing we're gonna do is, consider approval of the regular minute meetings of our October 27th, 2025 meeting. And but we just I asked for someone to,
So moved.
okay,
And I was gonna say, before we start that real quick, so we just need to do roll call, and so
Oh.
I'll just, I'll do the roll call. Board Chair, Tim Lavadi,
I'm here.
Board Vice Chair Pam Gibson. Here. Board Member, Yvonne Cantu. Board Member Betty Conley.
Here.
Board Member Cynthia Boldy. Here. Board Member Lucinda Valenti.
Here. And I want to remove my thing because my name is spelled wrong on the meeting minutes.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh,
I can make a correction.
They just so left. Not have them. Oh, that's pretty.
But not,
It's not good.
I'll make a correction.
okay. So with that correction, do I ask like if there's a motion or do I make the motion?
Oh, no, you can't have to say a motion.
Is there a motion to adopt the minutes for the October 27th, 2025 meeting?
As corrected, I move.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. All opposed? That passes unanimously.
first was Lucinda and the second was Betty.
Yes.
At this point in time, we give citizens of yes, anywhere, I guess, it's not the citizens, it's just citizens of Kyle or anywhere.
Yeah, you can just read that.
Okay. The Board on Aging welcomes comments from citizens. Those wishing to speak are encouraged to sign in before the meeting begins. Speakers may be provided with an opportunity to speak during this time period on any agenda item or any other matter concerning Board of Aging business, and they must observe the 3-minute time limit. Do you have anybody who signed up today? Guess not. Okay. Let's go to, guess our first item then is, receive a report, hold a discussion and provide staff feedback regarding the Kyle mobility plan.
All right, well, thank you everyone for having me today. My name is Jake Goodkins with the Goodwin Corporation. We also have Lou Zhang back in the back here from the city's department. I'm gonna stand up, if that's okay. Stand. We were asked to kind of come and give you guys an update and offer some opportunity for feedback on mobility issues in Kyle. We already heard some of that in kind of the pre-meeting discussions for you guys talking about some issues out there, but we're doing a citywide, including the city limits of the ETJ plan for transportation, mobility, and other ways of getting around for the city. And so I'm going to give a kind of a short 5-10 minute presentation on kind of what we're doing, where we're at in the process, and kind of what feedback we've gotten so far. And then at the end, I have a couple questions for y'all specific to folks that are older adults in the community and certain specific things that we should be considering in our plan. So we want to have some, I want to have some dialogue about that. And I can also share some feedback we got when we went to the Kyle area senior zone a few weeks ago. So I'll share a little bit about that. So history of this document in the city, 2016 was one of the early iterations of this plan. That was a plan for, it's called the Transportation Master Plan, or Kyle Connected, and it was supposed to be planning through about a 25-year time horizon, so until 2040. And really what these documents do is a couple of things. One, It kind of sets goals and objectives for mobility and transportation in the city and the ETJ. So it's looking at things like new routes and connections over time. I'll pause for a second. Let them all get settled for a second. Welcome. Yes. So it looks at some policies, so things in the past that have come as like the Vibe Trails was a policy kind of earlier on, a little bit after the 2016 plan, and looking at kind of how do we plan for things as development occurs, but also address needs in the community, address things like congestion, safety issues, other things like that. So it's policies, projects, and then a long range set of maps to kind of dictate where things should go and how development should build infrastructure as it comes in. 2021 was a really minor update, and that really was basically a springboard to get into the 2022 bond. That's really what that whole effort was about. It wasn't a whole comprehensive effort to re-look at visions, goals, objectives. And so that one was really more about developing a project list and doing some cleanup work that had kind of gotten out of date over about 5 years since the previous plan was done. Part of why we're doing this now is twofold. One, we're trying to help sync up the mobility plan with the most recent comprehensive plan that was adopted about a year and a half ago. So the Kyle 2030 plan that was done a couple of years back. We're trying to sync up with that. That had a whole new set of future land uses. So when you plan for transportation, it should be done in tandem with land use. So, hey, we think this is going to be denser or this is going to be less dense like rural estates. What kind of transportation do you need to serve that growth over time? So we're looking at all of that. And then just frankly, we haven't done the city hasn't done a comprehensive look at this in 10 years to really go through and think through what it should be. So we're going through that right now. We're kind of in the early stages. I'll show you a timeline in a minute. This is a draft vision statement. And some of this is kind of trying to tie mobility back to the overall city vision from the comprehensive plan and the council's strategic goals. I'll read it off just kind of slowly here. The city of Kyle aspires to be the undisputed regional leader. It's language that's also in the city's vision statement for the comp plan in vehicular, pedestrian, and multimodal mobility. The Kyle Mobility Plan establishes proactive strategies to address congestion, safety, and provide travel options for a thriving community. So I kind of had a couple of key things in here to kind of hit on. So Kyle just doesn't want to be a letter B grade community. We want to be an A letter, top of the line, the regional leader in mobility. As a city, we want to focus on not just cars, but walking, biking, rolling, other kinds of ways of getting around, accessibility for folks that maybe are mobility impaired. That's part of that multimodal considerations, ADA compliance, accessible, things like that. And then not just being reactive as things become problems. So we want to address the things that need to be addressed and react to those, but also be proactive, set up good policies so that those problems don't emerge again. So that's kind of the general overall vision here. There's a lot of things on the screen. I'm going to kind of focus in, but really what we've tried to do so far is tie the mobility plan goals, you kind of hear this theme over and over again, back to the comprehensive plan goals. And so we're doing a lot of data-informed decision-making. So we're collecting lots of traffic counts. We're doing some fancy models to see how bad traffic gets if everything builds out like the comprehensive plan says. And we're taking a lot of information about safety issues and crashes, lighting issues, all sorts of stuff around town that we're looking at. One of the goals for Kyle, and this kind of fits in with some of the other historical things that have been done, and we can talk about roundabouts later, but is to be the safest community in Texas. So that is a really aspirational goal, but there's ways to get there. And so having safety inform what we do is a really important part of this. And to provide mobility options for everyone. The city's invested a lot historically in the rideshare services with Uber. We'll talk more about that. We heard a lot of comments on that at the senior zone. And then also just making sure people have ways to get around. The whole Vibe Trail system, trail-oriented development, that was a pretty aspirational vision to kind of really make other ways to get around than just the automobile, offer ways to get around. We don't want to just throw dollars where it doesn't make sense. So a big part of this is going to be looking at once that next set of projects, once the 2072 bond's done, you'll see a lot of construction around town right now because those projects are finally starting to move dirt, which is exciting. Marketplace got done recently. We've got some stuff going on BB over here. There's a lot of action right now, but now we're kind of at that stage of, hey, those are going to be done in a couple of years. So what's after that? And so that's a big part of what this plan is going to look at. The policy side is really important. So one big thing we talked about with staff at the beginning of this process was, especially really easy to see on the east side, we got a lot of development and small roads, right? Is how do we not let that continue to happen? How do we get bigger facilities that are appropriate that can move traffic and not become bottlenecks on the east side, especially, but also just let's be partners with development, have them help actually put in good infrastructure as they go. So that's a big part of what we're looking at in this one. And then community feedback is really important. I'm going to cover that in a second. And then the other piece of this that's a big part of it is we're not just looking at Kyle kind of in a microcosm here. We're looking at this on a much macro, larger scale. So we're talking with San Marcos, Buda, Hays County, and trying to work with TxDOT regional partners to make sure that this is something that can be done in concert with other jurisdictions. We know that a lot of roads where traffic congestion, safety issues from our public feedback that we heard is on TxDOT roads. So how do you work with TxDOT? You got to go talk to them and try to actually work together to make sure that what you're planning to do is something they support as well. So we're working through that process. In terms of plan timeline, we're kind of in the middle. I'm going to cover some of what we heard in our first phase of engagement over the summer. And then we're working towards coming back kind of first quarter next year with some recommendations. That's really where we're headed. So this is a really good time right now to say like, hey, we're still building recommendations. Let's hear additional feedback from y'all specific to the folks that are aging or older adults. We had a lot of feedback. We were pretty pleased with what we got back in terms of like how this compares with other mobility plans I've done. It's on the higher end actually in the amount of in terms of engagement we've gotten. So that was really great. We've actually talked to over 300 people in person over the last couple of months, including the senior zone, market day, city fests. Got to see some families with young kids that moves in the park. So we've kind of gotten a good split. One thing that is not on here that I think is, I'll be proud to say is we actually, of the feedback we've gotten, it's been almost exactly 50% east and west of 35. So that was one of our goals in engagement, was to make sure we weren't just getting one side of the city, but actually hearing from both, because those are completely different animals when it comes to how to deal with what's needed on both sides. Big things that we're hearing about, safety has come up a lot, which is interesting because that also lines up with our goal to be the safest community. So there's a lot of work to do there. Road repairs and widening roads, especially, is what we keep hearing about. They're too narrow. There's not enough, space to go. And then actually one of the ones that came up a lot was fixing the intersections. And so that's something we're going to be looking at a lot, is turn lane improvements, traffic lights, roundabouts, things like that, and where those make sense and where they're most needed right now. And then specific for the senior zone, I wanted to highlight this because we're here with the Board on Aging. A lot of the commentary was about usability of the Uber 314 program. How easy is it to use? Is it a challenge getting rides? A lot of people have talked about, can we increase the subsidies or also expand it out more into the ETJ, where some of the residents, not residents of the city, but people nearby live. A lot of comments about difficulty driving at night and being able to see. That's not uncommon, especially as we age. Sensitivity to light is more difficult. And then a big concern was how narrow streets were during construction and trying to get around barricades, barrels, things like that, and just concerns about safety during construction. So I'm going to stop talking. Threw a lot of stuff at you there. We can also go back on the slides, but I kind of wanted to have a discussion about a couple things, and then we can certainly talk about other stuff as well. But just kind of two prompts I had for y'all to kind of get the discussion going is, number one, what do you see as the greatest needs for mobility for older adults in Kyle? So what's lacking or what's needed to help improve mobility for older adults in the city? And then what are kind of similar but a little different is, what are some of the greatest obstacles to mobility for seniors in Kyle? So I'll kind of leave those two out there and on the floor for what I want to talk about with that. Yep.
Go ahead, Ben.
I think the greatest need for one-on-one for mobility is transportation for adults. The
Public
seniors.
transportation.
Public, that's what I'm saying. Busing, some type of bus, something like, I'm gonna say carts, I don't know what else to say, but, or a van for seniors. Because like I said before, that Uber is good, but it limits them what they can do. Because they only have 10, I believe, vouchers, but they have to go to doctors, they have to go to the store, if they're not driving at all, they'll use that up in no time. And therefore, programs that are within the city, they have to choose which one they're gonna go to versus other programs.
Can I
We need a bus.
Can I ask a clarifying question on that?
Yeah.
If, cause I know that there's a separate effort looking at the rideshare program right now for the city. If the number of vouchers for specifically for older adults, like maybe we have like a certain threshold, like 55 and up, 60, 65 and up. If that was increased, could that satisfy the need if it was enough vouchers, or is it something that's totally independent? We just need a shuttle because.
We just need a shuttle. First of all,
Okay.
some of you have to do everything online. You have to understand, there's a lot of seniors that do not do technology. It's very hard for them to even figure out an email or, converse. So we're trying to open that door by bringing in, teaching for technology. But, they can't even get to the Uber vouchers. And then I understand someone told me it's very hard to navigate through. It's not an easy way to get your vouchers. So we just basically need a bus or something, a van or something.
Well, and Uber does not address mobility issues a lot of times. You can't get a wheelchair in an Uber. You can't getting a walker into an Uber is hard.
Yeah.
And it's just mobility
Even
issues.
paying, they say it's very hard when they have some.
Unless you request, Uber specifically for a handicap.
Yeah.
Which
But
you
then
can
it's
do,
hard.
which you, well,
Yeah, there's not enough.
And there's not enough around, so if there's 2, 3 people, somebody's gonna be pushed aside because they're gonna serve one.
I think another issue that I've seen is in this, the Uber program is touted as being, it's gonna cost you $3.14.
and it's not.
It doesn't. You know,
It saves you $10.
Yes.
That's all it does. It saves you $10. Because you pay the first $3.14, it pays the next $10. You pay whatever is over that and you pay a tip.
Right.
And, a lot of times, and I don't use it personally, but my son, who has a disability, does, because he doesn't drive. The other day, when he lives over at the Aden, which is near the Texas Roadhouse, he wanted to go over to Clark Park. He's gonna get an Uber. It was gonna cost him, his portion of that 5-mile ride was gonna be $15. Because what Uber does, and this started happening a long time when my son first started using it, so I got a hold of the city and said, I thought it was $3.14. And they said, no, because what Uber does is they increase their price based upon time and circumstances. And so there's no guarantee that you're gonna be at $3.14. And when we're talking about seniors, most of them are on a fixed income.
Right.
That even that $3.14 2 times, in a round trip,
628.
$6.28 is a lot of money, but then you tack on whatever extra, it's gonna be hard. And I'm just kind of curious, and I've been, just to let you know, I made an open records request for Uber documents many before I even got on this board, because my son, it's like, why are they charging him so much money? He was going from the Aden over to CVS downtown, they were charging him, $10. And so I started looking at it and I thought, what is the cost of Uber? Just in general, to the city? And would it be more effective to do something more along the lines of what the city of Buda is doing for its seniors? The city of Buda, they purchased, 2 vans, 2 small buses, kind of like the carts. And they provide free transportation to people who are over 60 or have a disability. And it's not like the Uber program where it's, limited to the city limits. Buda goes out to the ETJ. They even will bring people down to Kyle. If it's a doctor in Kyle or down by San Marcos.
No, but they don't go out because we were in Buda, but we were outside we had a Buda address, but we were outside the city limits and I was only 1 mile outside.
Well, they've expanded it.
Had they did,
Yeah.
okay,
They've gone out to the ETJ
well,
now.
that's good.
And But, so, I'd be interested in finding out, comparing the cost to the city of, just going in and I talked to the chair of the Commission on Aging in Buda. And he told me that they were able to get some kind of a grant from Hayes County to go and purchase their buses and to pay for their drivers. Um, and to cover some of the, a lot of the costs so that it's completely free to the people who need to use it. Now, the drawback to that program, it just works during business hours, okay? But if we had that, then if something outside the business hours, our people could always rely on Uber. Or maybe, make it completely, make Uber free to seniors.
I wonder what happened to carts, because carts used to be around. I don't know what happened to carts. It was only $1 to ride it, one way and one way back, and it's in San Marcos. But I don't know why we don't have it here in Powell.
Maybe because we had to buy into it. Isn't that a,
And then just real quick, and this is my fault, I should have made introductions. So, the consultant's on behalf of the Department of Transportation. There's a, Lou, what's the full name? Transportation. Public Works and Transportation. Transportation and Public Works. And Lou, can you actually just do a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Susan, I am the Assistant Director of CIP. Capital Improvement Project.
And so, I don't know if you can help answer that question that they had. Yeah, they're not doing the work with Park and Rec, they're doing with the Transportation Public Works. So can you repeat that question one more time, Betty, or someone had a,
I was asking about carts, whatever happened to bringing carts into Powell?
oh, okay, got it.
Because carts is at like $1, one way, $1 back. It's in San Marcos, it's in other cities. I don't know why we didn't use it and utilize it for Powell, and they have handicap.
isn't that Keppel area regional transportation?
yeah.
Yeah, well, transportation system.
I think that's kind of like Cap Metro. You have, each city has to buy into the program, pay a huge amount of money to get in. Like a tax kind of thing. And so typically we'll say, well, we're not gonna do that. We'll just do something on our
I'm
own.
just thinking of grants and everything to help do, I don't know how
I don't know
that
how
works. I don't know.
Do you know the answer to why we don't have carts?
That, I think, the question to that is, I think you have to have an agreement with them for a certain cost per year. I know other communities that do use carts, it's a certain amount of fee for whatever type of service you're getting, whether that's a bus that runs the route, like the shuttle service, carts now, they have that one in some communities, so. I can't tell you why y'all don't have it, I can just say that it doesn't exist and there's a cost to it, and council hasn't chosen to do that.
I've got a couple of comments. I use Uber a lot with the airport feature. It's wonderful as a single person to get to the airport and back. Those are my 2 monthly vouchers. Pick up at home. They handle my suitcase. I don't have to pay for parking. Same thing in reverse to get back home when I get back from my trip, even though it's gone up from 30% of the cost to 50% of the cost, is still fantastic. I have no trouble navigating, getting the voucher, getting the Uber, all of that. Have no trouble. The other thing that I want to address, you touched on it briefly, is road safety. Tile managed roads versus TxDOT roads. I recently called 311, or no, I emailed 311 because of an issue on 150 near the Kyle Public Works and Lehman Road, going toward Dollar General. They did road work there last year and it messed up the striping. It's really hard to see, especially at night, where's all the division, and there's a turning lane and it needs to be restriped.
Is that the lanes like merged together? Like,
Well, it's beyond that, it's
Oh, beyond that.
going toward the middle school and beyond. So I explained all that in a 311. Well, their answer back to me, and they handled it promptly, but they said, this is a text dot road. You need to call them. Okay, I did my due diligence. I'm a Kyle resident. Why couldn't Kyle 311 call text dot about that road? I don't think it's my place. I gave all the information to the Kyle people. Why ask a senior citizen to turn around and try to talk to text dot?
I can't answer for the 311 service. Do you know who operates 311?
I do wanna make a comment on that.
Yeah.
We have regular meetings with TxDOT. It's kind of difficult to get a hold of like the people that we need to talk to. But we're trying to work on an interlocal agreement with them for all the TxDOT facilities in Kyle that we can like striping, anything we need to get done. It just needs to be done.
Yeah,
So we're aware of the situation, same as what veterans.
but if I present a safety
Yeah.
issue to Kyle, could Kyle handle that for me?
Yeah, I think our department's handling that. I think that's.
Well, they
just
told me
kind of
that-
What's 311, kind of a generic
I
answer.
mean, I'm trying to prevent an accident.
I understand that. So, yeah, I just wanna make sure that you know that our department is handling that. We're aware of all the issues, but, that's just kind of the answer.
Just understand what you're saying, that this is what I understand what you're saying. You made that call, they said you have to call TxDOT. You want them to turn around and tell TxDOT what you said.
I've given them all the
That's not
information.
happening with 311. When you call, they tell you who we have to call, but then it's left like that. So it's not communicated. There's a communication problem. It's not communicated from one to
I
the
don't
other
think I
without
should,
the senior having to do it.
I don't think I should have to turn around and make another
Correct.
call. I've provided all the information and I've done it.
I can get with 311 and see what solutions we can come up with that, if when someone puts a concern like that, if they can just, I don't know, if it's a text dot, I would hope that they can just do it themselves. I don't know. I don't know if like text dot has to have it from the primary, I don't know, but
Yeah.
we can look into it and I can get on it.
That's my question. Can y'all get 311 to call it on text dot? Not ask the citizen to do it.
I'm just me speaking as transportation professional. Could you also include the county responsibility stuff?
Yeah, county, because I don't know what kind of road I'm driving on, except that it's not safe. So let me call 311 and I'm done.
And then I have a question when you do the roads. Why is it that they are putting the manholes so high that when you go over them, it's worse than a speed bump? Seton Cal, the Parkway Road.
Kyle Parkway.
Yeah, has this manhole. It's terrible. Now I have background, but it's terrible. They raised, all the other ones are fine, but that one that they have it's gotta be raised up at least 6 to 7 inches higher than what the road is.
Okay.
So you're going, and if traffic's coming, I can go around if the traffic's not coming. If traffic's coming, you're gonna hit that. That's gonna be
Okay.
hard on the tires.
I can add it to
We
our
can look
login.
into, yeah, we can look into that. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Oh, I thought it was a normal thing that you're starting.
No,
That's
no,
why
no.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, no, it usually need to be flushed with the road grade. It could be because the clay bottom, so the road probably need maintenance that
Yeah.
kind of sinks the manhole, but well.
It shouldn't be installed to me that way.
No,
but
they worked
the
on
track
it,
is
and then
somewhere.
that's how it came out in the end.
And I guess to, kind of to help with
No, you're
the,
fine.
just like, so I kind of, the things that I heard, what you're saying, the greatest needs or, and I guess obstacles, is, communication. The other part is, we talked about mobility, the Uber program, being able to get around. We talked about the cars, just like you an example. Was there anything else like that y'all believe is the greatest need or obstacle for the seniors in Kyle for mobility?
Education as far as how to find these things, how to access it in a simple way.
There's also sidewalk issues. I live over in, Spring Branch. And I watch wheelchairs go over to Pizza Hut and stuff. And it's just the sidewalks don't go all the way. They stop and then they start up again. There's only sidewalks on one side of the street, not the other side of the street. And I end up walking in the road a lot of times because there's a huge lip right by the golf course. That wheelchair that I see every day could probably go airborne if they get enough speed. I mean, she doesn't, but it's just this, our sidewalks
Yeah.
need some attention.
No, I know the city did do a citywide study of sidewalk gaps, and she's in 2023, I think it was on Lou. I know there's efforts underway to try to do that, just it takes time, it's a lot of infrastructure. So.
Yeah, we're trying to take care of mostly one neighborhood at a time. Right now, we're working on Amberwood subdivision. We're replacing all the pedestrian ramps to make sure that everything compliant. Also, the Post Oak subdivision is under design because one of the road needs to be reconstructed. There's a lot of road, the condition is pretty bad, so we're working on an overlay. And also taking the sidewalk and ramps and driveway into ADA compliance. Yes, we're kind of planning out subdivision at this time.
Well, and as it's a nursing home, and she comes out of there, and I've seen multiple people try to get over to the convenience store and stuff, and it's hard.
I want to get back to Uber a little bit. Do you have information about what the Uber budget is?
I don't want to quote a number off the top of my head to you, but it's in the several hundred thousands per year. I don't know if you have an accurate current number,
Yeah,
but
I don't remember on that time of my head either.
I know it's been increasing over time as it's become more popular, frankly. And so the first year costs were lower and it's continuing to increase year over year. And so there's a study underway right now to look at it and any kind of possible changes to the program. So it's an active period right now.
Yeah, that's in the budget, if you want to take a look. at the
Okay,
budget.
okay, because I was looking at the resolution for the extension of the contract back in 2024. It said the budget for 2024 was 450,000. They were expecting the budget for 2025 to be 700,000. And I was looking at the records I got just for 6 months in 2024, where the city spent 174,000 just in that 6 months, but the people spent almost 100,000 in addition to that 174,000. So, I'm kind of wondering, why are we supporting Uber, $1 million a year to do this when it doesn't really meet all our needs? And easily we could take, it seems to me we could take some of that money or get a couple of buses, at least for the seniors, and take that expense, out there.
Why aren't we working with the county? Buda worked with the county, you got the buses and the drivers.
Right.
Why isn't the city, I don't know if the city even asked the county to do some type of partnership.
And I just know that I don't want to discourage not talking about it. I feel like we're kind of somewhat going away from the original question. And if we want to really dive into Uber, we can put it on the December agenda. Because I feel like we're not be able to give you a lot of answers today anyways. But I will kind of write that to see if maybe I can work with the Department of Transportation to see. But I think also, I think the survey's already closed, right, Lou, on the Uber program survey?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we kind of know the timeline of when y'all would know results and I guess an analysis of the results.
I think it's pretty synced with this one. We're looking at February next year.
I think so.
Right, yeah.
You said February?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's be sure to wrap it up. So, but there's still time for discussion on this. So yeah, I think.
So we can just, again, it's just part of more in depth with like the Uber program. I just didn't want to stray away from like this topic, just like in general, the obstacle
Yeah.
needs.
The Uber is relevant
Yeah.
to the overall
Sure.
movement, but I totally get that, yeah. I think the short answer is, I wanna take this feedback from y'all to talk about, kind of talk between the two efforts for the city and kind of just talk about, hey, here's specifically what we got from the Board on Aging. Here's kind of the challenges, the obstacles, maybe just from a cost standpoint, does it make sense? Are there other options? And kind of explore this. So I think that's I can do that out of this meeting, so make sure that you understand, I'll go back and look. And maybe Lou, I can probably try to, maybe we can get some stuff, if y'all do come back and talk about it, maybe we can have some stuff, other programs to talk about that too.
And would you be interested in finding out, for example, the cost that Buda incurs in their bus program? They call it Star.
Yeah, we could contact the folks. Yeah, I'll make a note to contact them.
This could be the city clerk. I tried calling her, but she wasn't in. But so I'm trying to find out that information as well.
Yeah, it may also be in their budget, so
It might be, yeah.
I can think a couple different ways.
Okay.
But yeah, we can check it out. I can tell you just anecdotally, because the city just finished a procurement up for this. Cedar Park is looking at doing something now. They're not a member of Cat Metro. They actually are doing a similar Uber's partnership program, but they also looked at a shuttle service, and the shuttle service was about 3 times as much. It was like about 1.2 to 1.5 million per year to do the shuttle service and have a provider for that. Just offering that anecdotally is a lot of times some of those services can actually be more expensive because of the cost of just the delivery cost of the program, the maintenance of the vehicles, owning the vehicles. So that could be a reason why is the cost could be significantly higher. Just put it out there. I know it sounds on face that 700 would be enough to cover something like that, but I'm just kind of sharing that. Actually, in reality, sometimes those can be quite expensive. So
Yeah, in the budget session, we actually did look at the options, including shuttle service, fixed route buses, other models other than Uber. And Uber just came out and more reasonably priced and meeting the needs the most because it was door to door and on call.
yeah, the cost per ride, even though I know citizens are bearing some of the cost of the Uber program, as you noted, can be 3 to 4 times as much for the city for a shuttle service. Sometimes it can be $40+ per ride versus the 10 that's currently subsidized. So I'm just sharing that info.
Sure. Well, even if you stay with Uber, it seems to me that perhaps you could think about doing something special for the seniors, for people, seniors and the disabled. In terms of making unlimited vouchers, and having a set cost, not leaving it open to Uber to decide what they're going to pay each time.
Yeah.
And from day to day to day, the price will fluctuate now.
Mhm.
But just so a senior can say, oh, I know it's gonna cost me $3 each ride and nothing more.
Right. Okay. That's helpful. Yeah, and I think that because that process is going on right now, it's valuable feedback that we can look at. And yeah, I think the education piece is something I think you mentioned a lot about, like the wheelchair accessible vehicles. I think you mentioned it, Cindy, like there is a separate line for disabled and things like that. So we'll come back to some more of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So communication and accessibility.
Yeah.
I think are our big.
And affordability.
Those are good. I know you have other agenda items, kind of just open-ended questions, anything else that y'all want to talk about today on here? Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for your time, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to come talk. Yep. Helpful.
Okay. Now, for our next item. It's receive a report, hold a discussion and provide staff feedback regarding the proposed AARP-based listening step-in approach. Gather input on the needs of seniors and Kyle. And to guide the development of a more livable community for older adults.
Hey guys, it'll be me. Trying to switch windows. My name is Tamara, and I am the visit and should be planning manager. And yeah, I'm gonna present to y'all. I do present classes out as well. So if y'all want to share, I think it was the last one, the first one. And we're given these like workbooks, and so we kind of talked about it at the last meeting, just getting to see our work like hold a listening session with the community here. What their needs are, all you to share. Okay. We have we're gonna kind of go right here, and so the PowerPoint really is. If you see one was enough.
I mean, that's all you would.
I'm always here. Oh. I'm scratching it. Is that?
That's fine.
That was good, I'm good.
Oh, here she is.
You've memorized this.
No, I don't. I don't want to touch it.
Oh, no.
Oh. What do you, like, say, a foot away from me?
Me too. I'm just being careful.
I'm writing it. Okay.
I know.
Oh, let me just put this in it.
I know, you want to go home with you.
Okay. There you go.
It's just a- that will actually think just in case.
And so really get to have this time to kind of workshop what that could look like. If we were to host some listening sessions, so we're gonna go through that outline, and I went by the guideline of the community, the toolkit and the ARP. You see this works. Is it? Okay, great. So for this presentation, we're just gonna go through the background, of one, how, which I kind of just talked about how we got here. And what we're gonna go through, what does the livable community mean? And then going through the, pretty much the skeleton of doing the listening session approach, overview. And again, we're just discuss through it and then talk about next steps. Again, just to reiterate just the background, Councilmember, Dr. Harris, thank you for providing these workbooks. And so it gave me a chance to look through them. It was a really great informative guide. All of them have really great information. And as you know, AARP, does a lot and contributes a lot to the study and research of how seniors would like to live, and not just live, but thrive in this new chapter of their life as they move from a different life stage. And so I like it. It was really informative, very concise. And then again, we went through that as I called the roadmap to livability, to talk about what it is to have community engagement on different topics. And so what I loved most about it is a very holistic approach. It doesn't talk about just one certain things, because we need all these different things to have great community living, right? And again, we got here because y'all expressed a desire to engage with the community. And so we're just talking about the approach. Well, first, we want to know what does a livable community mean to AARP? So I want to read it per exactly how it is to make sure we're all on the same page. A livable community is safe and secure, has affordable and appropriate housing and transportation options, and offers supportive community features, services. Once in place, those resources enhance personal independence, allow residents to age in place, and foster their engagement in the community civic, economic, and social life. So for me, my kind of takeaway from that, all of it is great so that there is personal independence, so that y'all have the ability to have different resources to be able to live as actively in the civic, economic, and social life. And so, which is, I think is wonderful that is kind of their mission, for the reason why they made this resource. And of course, it's to better the quality of life of seniors. And so y'all want to know, what does that mean here for us Kyle residents? Y'all have a name for Kyle residents? Y'all just call them, or call Kyles, or Kylie? No?
Kylies. Yeah, got it.
Kyles and Kylie. So what does that mean for us here? And so again, we're gonna I'm gonna hit it generally, and then we can talk more specifically on what we want to talk about in these community listening engagements. So through that toolkit, which we're just on page, I don't want to follow through. Kind of starts on page, what is that? I don't have page numbers. This one.
In the middle.
They are in the middle. Thank you. Okay, page 6. Page 6. Really we want to talk about when we start doing these. It can be a series. We can just talk about really just one that is the most desirable to talk about in our senior community, what's relevant to us in this time and moment. And we just have to be specific, because usually these are kind of open-ended, what is it that the seniors need? But because we are a board, we do have to still be compliant to the Open Meetings Act, which an Open Meetings Act, the citizen needs to know ahead of time, what is it that we're gonna be talking about? And so we can kind of choose which topic specifically we want to talk about in our first one, and then if we can have another one to talk about a different topic. We just can't have an open-ended one, an open-ended type of meeting when it's like the board hosting it. And so just want to preface that. So again, just talking about what is the what, yes.
What if it's not necessarily the board, but just like one or two members of the board hosting it? Do we get around the Open Meetings Act requirements by doing it that way?
Well, no, because
No.
I would say you're hosting it on behalf of the Board on Aging.
Okay, right.
And so to say that, you'd have to have a quorum, and if you have a quorum or have a meeting, then you have to have the Open Meetings Act. You have to be compliant to the Open Meetings Act, to be specific.
Right, but if only like one or two of us are at this session.
Mhm. But I think, in the day, you're still representing the Board on Aging. I mean, if you, like, if you're private citizens and you just, like, go out and, I can't really say you can't, right? You just can't do it as a Board on Aging, because that is a city board, like, if that is a city advisory board. It's not a standalone, like a nonprofit, but it's a city advisory board. But again, we can still talk about certain topics, which probably is better when we have these community engagement listening sessions, so people have some idea what we're gonna talk about. We can kind of focus on one area. Cause I'm sure that'll still take up its own time as well. And but again, we can host another listening session to talk about a different area. So it kind of depends on what you want to talk about first. So like suggested topics is like programs or services, like what are rec programs, services that are needed, or the library programs, like active things that our seniors can be participating in. The other one is accessibility, another one could be transportation. So just to kind of think about what is the what. The other part to that is thinking about who is it that we want to engage with, how we want to engage them. And I think it might depend on like what is the what. Do we want to have a focus group, which is around like 8 to 12 people that we have specific invitation for, like, because you're part of this business and your business deals a lot with this area that we're going to talk about. So the 8 to 12 people is just a very more intentional of who we want to invite to be part of that focus group. Or it could just be a community listening session where it's just like around 25 people, anyone can really come and be a part of it. And then we also want to think about the when. Think about the length of time, should it just be an hour and a half, 2 hours, would people still be engaged after 2 hours, 3 hours, so thinking about the length of time of that meeting. Also the time of day. Is it better to have this during a weekday in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, or is it better to have it on the weekends? What is best for most seniors to gather around to make it optimal for them to come? And then thinking about the where. And so I guess it kind of depends if we do focus group or community listening session of the space that we need. And essentially the questions to ask would relate a lot to the topic we talk about. So these are questions that were in the guidebook of their guiding questions, like what do you love about program services in Kyle? What's needed now in the future for programs and services in Kyle? And what would add to the quality of life in regards to programs and services in Kyle? So essentially we're just plugging that in. And then at the next, if we wanted to host another meeting, let's say about accessibility, it'd be on the same thing. And that's how we will let people come up, share their thoughts on it. Yeah, we just talk about it that way. So this is kind of the overview of how they do their listening sessions toolkit with the AARP. So what is it, and this is kind of our workshop time, what is it that you think would be a good thing to talk about, like our first, if we were to do this, our first topic to talk about with the seniors? What is most prevalent?
Transportation, as far as seniors that I'm working with, it's the most prevalent.
Okay, people like transportation, okay? Any other thoughts? Or is everyone in agreement? That should be the first topic? Transportation?
I
Okay,
agree, because I've taken calls at the senior center,
Mhm.
that's the first thing out of their mouth is, I wish I could come, but I can't get there. I'm stuck at home. I live with my daughter, but she goes off to work. I'm stuck at home.
That would also be accessibility.
Yes. So if they can't if they can't get anywhere to do anything, that's the first issue to solve.
Right, the transportation is the biggest issue, and we have some people who offer to pick people up, but other people don't want them in the car in case something happens, there's a liability, you know, so it's just a whole,
Yeah, that's.
it comes down just.
If you can't get out of the house, what else can you do?
That's good. So I think we're all agreed that our first one should be transportation. Okay. I think I just want to, but if there was a second one, what could the second need to be?
To be able communication, because that's where things fall through with the seniors of not keep looking at you. Was that gonna start up soon?
What?
The radio.
I keep looking at you.
Okay, that will help, that will help,
It will help.
that will help, but communication. The seniors are lost with that too.
Did everyone feel about the same about that communication? And I guess that kind of correlates with the education part. Yeah. Okay, that's great. All right, we're making headway. Okay. Now let's say just focus on the first one, transportation, indoor accessibility. Do you feel like that should first be a focus group? And we can honestly do two, where it's a focus group and then we do a general meeting, or we can just do one or the other. What are y'all thoughts?
I think if we do a focus group, we're gonna end up having to do like a second. Third,
Still have to do another.
keep doing.
Oh,
it over and
continue
over
to-
again
Yeah.
On the same subject, so might as well go ahead and start with a listening session.
Okay.
Where you have the optimal number of people who can put in their comments and see how many people or what percentage of people have the same thoughts and ideas, rather than a focus group where you have a very limited number of people that may not effectively represent what seniors are feeling.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's good. I think though we need to, when we do the big listening session, make sure key players are involved. That would be in a focus group, you know? I'm thinking like every senior living community we have here should probably have a representative there at the meeting. The big 55-year plus apartment building over.
Sage. Sage.
Yeah, Sage should have at least one representative in the big meeting, you know, to make sure that they have input. Senior center should have one or two people that, so not a focus group, but an invitation meeting. And everybody else too wants to come, but you know,
Look, and wherever we have it, we need to reach out to people that can't get there.
right. So,
Oh, we go to that. Where's the best place to go to that? But
The
there's,
senior center.
Well, I was thinking about
If they use Uber, though.
the senior center, but we need to make sure we reach people that can't.
Well, those people we would reach are the ones that are being driven by other people. And we can
I
make sure
think
that-
we need to pull it out of the senior center, sort of, and not make it a senior center. And if we have it there, it's everybody, it's gonna call it a senior center thing, and people won't come.
But that's what it's for seniors.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying though, that,
but like, what about like one of these senior living communities or?
or at the library. Is that not big enough?
Interesting thought of, you said at a senior living community, like an apartment place. Is there, you said the Sage, what is the Sage?
It's the 55 plus no kids, senior living apartments.
So like a resort, but here.
Well.
Okay, and thoughts? And I get that because you're saying, hey, we're sure a lot of people would come because they're already living there.
Right.
And other people, but the public can also participate.
I think it's important for the fact that we don't limit it to seniors. What about people who are taking care of seniors in their household? Or in their family, or their neighbors, or their community? So they may have some input that us seniors may not see. A different perspective.
But, and I guess, which is good, but I guess going back, who do we want for sure to be in attendance, like the input from? The seniors, like, is that the most important demographic, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think that's the most important demographic, is to being effective with the transportation. Okay, the ones in their home, we have a caregiving program that we're gonna be starting when we get into the new building. But the ones, the seniors, and I know the activity room is big enough to limit the number of people you want. But those are the ones we have to reach, and we'll take it back, and their children can come to that meeting as well. We won't isolate the caregiver,
No, no.
but I think it needs to be focused on the seniors
Right.
and the disabled, period.
Okay, and
But
so
start.
I wanna make, so that in that, what is the best place that would serve the primary demographic?
Is there a place in City Hall that's big enough for that kind of thing? No?
The Craig Center is a city building.
It is a
Okay.
city building.
I think it needs to be at the Creek
I think
Center.
it should be, personally, I think it should be at the Creek Center. It's
too.
centrally located. There's adequate parking. I don't think you want to put it at like the Sage. The parking's not good and it just kind of it'll just involve.
Be safe.
Yes, and Orchard Park and Philomena, there's not enough parking. That's the
Yeah.
biggest
And
part.
the rooms aren't big enough for a meeting.
And the seniors are aware of how, where the building is. You
Yeah.
start putting into new, just like we're going to new building, we're gonna lose some people for a while because they're not gonna know how to get there.
Yeah.
You start going to new places that they're not familiar with or they don't drive to. They know how to get to the group.
The senior center is known as a resource.
We're a one-stop shop,
Uh-huh.
period. We
So-
handle nutrition, we handle education, we handle technology, we handle health and welfare. We handle social, we do all of that, and we get the hospice, the care, the caregivers, all of it is at that group building.
Except for people like me who still work but are seniors, or people who don't, I mean, I love the senior center. I've never been there, but I love what I don't talk about. But if you come, people that are still working, people from the Sage, people from that, I have Hispanic neighbors that will never come to the senior center unless, I mean, I'm just saying,
Well, the building is a city building.
It's a city- You
We're
can
not
do it on a
talking-
Saturday, we're not saying you have to come during the daytime,
Saturday.
because you work, or you can do a nighttime, I'm not saying what time.
right, I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
saying that building is the center of this, the whole thing, not just for the seniors, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay, as long as we say it that way.
Senior Zone has a membership of 100.
We have 1,390, this year we got 191 members.
So that, the seniors know where it is. They don't all come at any given time.
No.
Thank goodness, because all 70 people for lunch, but,
I'm running away if they come.
I think the community knows where the Creek building is.
Yes.
They come to that building for market days.
And Santa and the rival, that's
Yeah.
all
And-
done.
And I guess, if you haven't visited, definitely more than, especially when we do the holidays, those are great times. The Krug is not actually a senior center. It's really, it's a city building where Kaz is. And so, and I say that to say that there's nothing about it that's like super like senior center.
It was
It's just-
dedicated
It
as a
is
senior center.
dedicated as a senior
In
center.
2016, 2019, it was dedicated as a
Oh,
senior.
yes, for sure. And then, but it's also used like for rentals or
Right,
special
right.
events. And so I say that as saying it's,
We
you,
share,
other people wouldn't, look at it and say, oh, it's a senior center.
right,
So it's a.
we share, it's for the young and the old, it is shares within the city.
I like that.
But then you can decide what you want a weekend, do we want to reach people like you? Or do we want a nighttime meeting, that's what we'll,
Not
Or both.
nighttime for drivers that don't drive
I,
at
it
night.
have to be a daytime for me, I'm just saying those are
Right,
options.
right.
We'll have to,
Or both.
So we have Krug, Krug. And so now, yes, time of day, what's the best days?
we don't want night, because seniors don't drive at night.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday, well, Sunday afternoons we have stuff, but Saturday is a good day. For, I would think,
For the majority of people.
For people that, seniors
the
that work.
people that are really serious and wanna be there, they'll be there.
Yeah.
That's,
But that also opens up for people who work.
that's what I'm
people-
saying.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
handles every, and caretakers too, maybe they, grandma goes with the brother or whatever, and she has the weekend off, they can come as well.
Okay, Saturday. Morning, afternoon.
Forget it, seniors don't, they take their teeth out at night at 6 o'clock and they don't get out till about 11 o'clock, so you can't get early in the morning.
So we're looking like 1 to 3.
After lunch, at least they had their lunch, so 1 o'clock I think is a good time to try. What do you
Speaking of food, can we offer food? I mean, not major food, but food's always a big attractor.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we get people to come to our meet and greet meetings and stuff,
Yeah.
and snacks and drinks, so that's something you all want.
I can.
Do we have a budget?
Who's gonna pay for that?
I just said, do we have a budget for that?
Originally, well, any new program that, or any new thing that we're doing is, there's like no budget for it, but yes, no. We'll figure out the pricing. And if anything, we can for sure like have snack there, to each on. But if we're doing it at one, I feel like most of them would have already eaten.
They'll like the light snack or the light drinks.
Yeah,
This is how I work when we have special meetings, if you're inviting, the home health or the Orchard Park or Philomena. They're very good about, I'll do the drink table, I'll do the hors d'oeuvres, or I'll do the snack. So I have a great relationship with 400 contacts.
that's all.
I could at least reach out and get you something.
Yeah.
And it would be free, because they would do it as long as we put their name on the table.
That-
Or on the card, on the plaque, so.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, I will start to do that.
And I think if I won, I feel like most people have already eaten by then, and so we could just give like really good, like hearty snacks and some
Yeah,
drinks
they
as
do the
well.
world, Nutri-Grain bars and stuff like that, and then do a drink table. There's water, tea, and stuff like that. So and fruit if they want, we'll do a food tray. If that's what you want, I'll go start.
Can we do that as a government agency? Ask for donations from, I hope so, I mean, but you gotta be,
Oh, yeah, we asked for donations.
okay.
Could I not ask them through CAS that we're gonna help sponsors, that we're a volunteer to help sponsors, so I'll ask it through CAS. We have a 501c3 too, so nothing will.
Yeah, we'll see what we're able to accommodate for,
Yeah.
and then if there is still a need, then I'll reach out.
Was critical be closed in December?
Right.
I don't think we just have talked about the date yet, and I guess
Maybe
to.
we should start the new year.
Dr. Harris, yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, we should have time anyway to get prepared. I mean, doesn't what this say anyway, is that,
I was gonna say,
Gonna
it's
take-
12 weeks, they suggest 12 weeks out, just to make sure the logistics and then the marketing for it, to make sure like there's been enough time that people know about it.
So February, that would be. Say, February.
Which maybe by then, I think they'll have the Uber program results and analysis of that, so I think hopefully that information can be shared during that meeting or even before that, so people regurgitate it, like, okay, we know what's gonna come from what they're saying. But still, we still think that these issues will still happen, so that could work in tangent.
I need to know ahead of time because we have Saturdays and
Right.
with the city, so I would have to either move something, tweak something, or share with the city something.
So possibly, so we're thinking February,
Okay,
Anybody have a calendar?
well, what it would be is I'd have to get a date back to you. I have to get to the city and say what's open, and then they'll come back and say this, and then I have to go back and say, no, I have this, and then we work out a date. So I could get you a date in a couple of days.
well, Saturdays in February are multiple of 7.
oh, nice, yeah. I would say the best day would be 21st. At least.
Is that a third Saturday?
Yeah.
That's gonna be impossible.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
Don't go there.
This one group will never move, and it's the
Oh, what
Quilter
group is, I'm just.
Quilter group. She will not move for Jesus Christ. She ain't done.
Board meeting, we're going off to the meeting.
Well, I'm saying quilter.
That one's out. I know quilter, so I understand.
Okay.
That's 8,000.
All right, then, I will
I've got a
then,
lady with a pair of scissors in her hand.
Second, fourth, first, second, fourth is what I can try to work with.
okay, so I guess you can see about second.
Alright,
Well, then we can,
Can I ask
let's bring it
for-
up in December,
Valentine.
actually, can,
or
yeah.
an email, I can also.
Can I ask for the 4th? I'll be in the Bahamas on the.
The fourth,
So
No,
not.
I'll be on the,
Fourth
no,
Saturday?
the 4th is good because I'll be in
Oh.
Bahamas on the 2nd.
oh, no, I'm saying the
The fourth
first, second, or
Saturday.
fourth Saturday.
Right, the 4th Saturday is perfect
For
for
the
me.
28th.
Oh, the 28th.
The
Yeah.
28th, I can try to check on that.
I'm doing a wedding in the Bahamas, so the 2nd.
Oh,
Doing as in planning or doing as in going?
I officiated.
gosh,
Oh,
So,
wow,
sorry.
Well, it's-
you should invite us.
I think we're thinking like at most 2 hours, right, I think.
1 to Three?
3, 7.
Yeah,
I think I
so
should.
we don't want any more than 2 hours.
Oh, we really knock these out, big guys. Okay, and like I said, really, these are the questions that we just fill in with what we just talk about. What do you love about transportation, Kyle? People talk and, discuss that, for probably 30 minutes, and then next thing in 30 minutes, 30 minutes. So,
Okay, so I know we can talk about this in December too. But is there a way that we can like sit in the front and ask the questions and keep it? I mean, have us as the board
Could
kind
there
of
be a
run it?
panel?
Oh.
Like a panel?
Yeah, instead of city government, which run.
Oh, no,
No.
I don't mind y'all. I did check with city secretary's office, but I think it's fine that y'all can
That we
lead it.
Yeah, lead it. And then we can do a script in January, what we want to do as a board.
Does it have to be limited to transportation?
We have to pick one area.
And then next time we can do another, and next time
Yeah.
another. We're just concentrating on one, so we don't get,
Because of the open meetings, that we just can't have it open out in general.
You could have 2.
What
If y'all wanted
if,
to do, you could,
what
but
if there's just all these burning issues out there? Could we make a list, for next time? Or, okay, these are topics for next time.
like, oh, if they talk about it at that
Somebody
meeting.
is there. I don't want to talk about transportation.
I got housing issues.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a meeting on that.
And maybe
later.
there's 6 or 8 topics out there that are just burning issues. And we could make a list then
Yeah, that's fine.
for next time.
Mhm.
Cause I don't wanna shut anybody down.
No, it's just like what I do here, like, if y'all bring up something,
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
with the,
So we can talk about the next one.
That's a great topic. We'll put it on our list for next.
Well, that's good because like in this, in AARP, they have this network of age-friendly communities, which I will maybe talk about in another time, but they have these 8 domains of livability in different areas. One of them is, the transportation, one of them is housing, one of them, is like, social participation, communication and information, health and services, all these different things. So, what we could do is kind of go through those like throughout the year, next year, have these listening sessions on each of these issues. And so that, and we can talk about that later in another meeting, is kind of get just a general idea of how we want to approach these things. So that if people, show up in February and say, I have a real issue with housing. I mean, it's just not, okay, we understand that. You know what? We're gonna have a meeting on that next month.
Yes,
Come back.
yes, yes.
So they know that we're concerned about them.
Right.
But right now, we want to deal with just
Right.
this one issue that we have to deal with now.
Right.
Because we want to take it all in and then be able to, analyze it and assess it, all these 8 areas. So that we can make recommendations to the city about how to make Kyle more livable.
Good. Yeah, let me talk again with the leadership team and then the city secretary's office, if we can just kind of do like a series package.
And,
So that they know it will be talked about.
and at the first meeting, it would be great at the end to announce when the next one's gonna be, and it would be a great tool to start getting people to come to the new building when the time comes.
are they always gonna be on Saturday? Are we not gonna do any one?
We haven't talked about
I
that
guess-
too, so.
Yeah, I guess maybe
But-
we can see how, as we get closer and as y'all talk to other.
But it will be approaching time to move as
No,
we
but what
move
I'm
through
saying-
this.
What I'm saying, though, you don't understand with the calendar. I have to work with the calendar,
Right,
and I can't just do it a week at a time. So when we start December deciding, and we get to February date, we have to really look what
we
the
do
next date is
have to
gonna
look
be.
ahead.
Right.
Cause I have to juggle to get to the next day.
I will give y'all that answer in December.
Okay.
How, if we were to do series, what would that look like? And again, nothing is hard as stone of dates, because we'll make sure we're mindful of the scheduling for CAS.
Right.
So, and any other city events that are happening.
Great tool to get people to do this.
Oh, yeah. So I have a question. What is our goal with a listening session? You know, and we have to be very clear about that. We just can't. What is our goal with a listening session overview?
Yeah, I think it's, from when I saw from the toolkit, it's kind of like the main questions, and I guess really the how to improve, the quality of life for seniors is the main thing. The overall arching goal, and I think once we collect like the results or like what the general consensus is, kind of talk about it, and I guess, I have it on the next slide too. But really just compiling what we just heard and, seeing what is it, the overarching theme you hear in everyone's responses. And then we can talk about it, depending on what they say, talk about the specific department, and then kind of work with them on whatever it could be a possible solution.
It's
to
a
the
way
things that
for
we're
us
talking
to
about.
find out on a specific topic, what's working, what's not working, what would people like,
Yes.
and some potential solutions. And hopefully that will set the tone for coming meetings so that people don't come complain. They come with some potential solutions in mind.
So we need to, I guess we just need to be very clear that it's not just a gripe session. It is, we want to hear everything and we are the conduit to go forth and bring it in front of the people who can make changes.
Yeah.
I think that is our sentence at the very
Before,
beginning.
Thankfully it was recorded, because that was good. I like
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah, so I think that is our
Repeat that-
sentence that we
Repeat
start
that
with.
again.
And you don't want a BS session.
Which supports that we should not have just like one or two of us show up there.
Yeah.
That if any of us show up, it should kind of almost like be 3 or 4 of us, like a quorum, so that it's reflected, it's not our personal opinions that we're there.
Mhm.
We're there on behalf of the city and community.
Just be very clear at the start. This is why we're here. This is what we're doing, and this is where we're gonna proceed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. And then this is just really what it looks like, leading up to it, just doing it 12 weeks out before the event. Including what we will talk about after the listening session. And again, we're just kind of gathering supplies, materials that we'll take care of, and then providing an agenda for that meeting, and then, facilitator, which I think we'll talk about in December or January, how we want to facilitate that, like, as y'all lead that discussion. And then kind of we just talked about, really after we have a listening session, what do you do after it, which is compile what the priority issues are, the resounding issues, so like transportation or what the topic we're talking about. Kind of categorize them to short-term and long-term goals. What is it that can be, like short wins that we could talk about the department, or hopefully they can do a presentation to address the issues that was brought up during the listening sessions. And then putting, the findings together to share at the next board on aging meeting. So whenever we have a listening session, say in February, to make sure we have enough time to compile that together, we'll do a presentation on that in March to talk about it here, what was gathered.
I have another question. He's already talked to you guys at the senior center about transportation. He just talked to us about transportation.
No, he just talked about the Uber.
Oh, okay, he just talked about the Uber.
That was the main thing. Once he started about transportation, it just stopped with Uber.
Okay,
And all the questions.
so we need this for transportation because he didn't get enough information
No,
and here. Okay, I just want, because
he did put a jar out that you could put something in it. What was most important to you?
Wasn't a tip,
There was several jars.
bonus on-
Which was most important, and everybody
Yeah.
put one in, and it all ended up with transportation.
It was a voting mechanism, drop in your little ticket or
But
whatever.
do we give them the results then too, the people that were at, I mean, do we come back and say, okay, we listened to you and here's what, no?
It can be in the same thing, because this is a public meeting as well, so I think we would just share, whoever came, we might have like a sign-in sheet, and so whenever we have the results or presentation, we'll do it here, and then invite them to attend. And this is also recorded and uploaded to the city website, so if they're not able to attend in person, they can be sent the link, and they can watch the video that will have that presentation on it.
Okay.
Any questions, guys? All right. Next is, any concerns or, also any additional data you think is needed about the seniors before the session? We can have a couple months out, but anything else?
Let's kind of say a little bit about like what you were thinking about the purpose. I mean, this whole thing, you know, the toolkit that AARP puts out is really part of this whole thing of AARP has this network, like I told you, of age-friendly states and communities. And they have this whole process that you can kind of jump into where you do this assessment of needs in the community. But it doesn't end there. But the whole purpose for the assessment is to determine what those needs are and to determine a plan of action, that needs to be taken to try and address those needs. And I think, that's I think that's where we're going. And I think, as I understand it, Tamara, is that once we get to that end where we have an assessment and then we have a plan of action that we think would be good, based on those needs, then that's presented to the city, right? But not by us personally, but by the Department of Parks and Recreation, right? They would actually go to the city council and present what we are recommending.
No, actually, you will.
Oh, we will?
I was gonna say,
Okay.
it'd probably be in conjunction, or it would be with y'all. And again, it also depend on the area. So since this first topic is heavy on transportation, I mean, our part would really just be around like the bike trail. And then accessibility in parks, well, I guess that's actually a different topic. But I'm talking about, make sure I say this correctly. But yeah, so it would have to be transportation, what it look like in our domain, but most of that domain is gonna be in transportation and public works department. But I guess when we get there, we'll make sure all the stakeholders, like from the city, are part of that discussion to be able to help put that presentation together for y'all to present at council.
Oh, okay.
Question.
Mhm.
What percentage of Kyle residents are 65 or older? I don't, is it 65? Is it 55? What,
22%.
wait a minute, 22% are what age and older?
60.
60 is the cutoff.
I believe that's what I read.
It should be 55 because I'm not even 60 yet.
The census is really the only way we have it.
I read it somewhere.
Census was 55, and I think we're going to.
So 55 is the age. And what is the percentage?
Approximately 24%.
But
But
we,
remember, that was. 5
But
years
when
ago.
was this? 5 years ago?
The census, that's the only way you know about. that.
And is it done on the like 2020, 2030, 2040?
but we're at 50. Our seniors. can-
I know, but I was wondering what the official city demographics state percentage
Right,
of,
census demographics is what we have.
which is 55 and older is 24%, and that's 5 years old.
Are we doing another census?
Huh?
Are they gonna do another?
2030, there 10 years. So I just think it would be great at the first listening session to present, while you're here, this is a little bit about demographics. You may not even know that we have this board now. Mhm.
Kind of our launch.
I like
Kind of our launch.
information like that to kind of get grounded on where are we in this big picture. And I'm sure a lot of people don't even know that this board has been established. I think it's important information. Okay.
Well, this was in a report, City Kyle. It shows that 60 and above was almost 30%. 60 and above.
60 and above,
Mhm.
30%.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, I guess, well, we can come, I
Well,
can
let's
for
get
sure
an-
get you.
Let's get an official
Yeah, and
number.
then I'll come back to on the, that's so I don't have that, but I'm gonna say, we probably just go with the census. Cause that's the official number, cause I know there's other resources, but. Ready, Fortune, with the next agenda item?
Number 3, no, number 4.
It's getting late.
Yes. See a report, full discussion, provide staff feedback regarding general update of city programs. Community center, area senior zone, gas partnership, citywide updates, these are meetings.
Well, this is, short, so this is why.
I appreciate.
Yeah, all right, the monthly report. We're just gonna go through just a quick update about the community center, and then we did talk about partnership, just in case people are listening in, and they don't know about the CAS partnerships, so just a quick reiteration of that. Very general, one slide, programs and events, and then, some of y'all talked about food assistance, at the last meeting, so just providing some information that we found from the Hayes, just sharing that here and like the public meeting, and then just, letting y'all know about the future meetings that we have for the board. So for the Kyle Community Center, fence is up, construction is happening. So we're moving, the fence is up, so, which means really no one can go in there because things are happening. So, that's kind of really what's going on. So it kind of started in late October again. The completion is like late March. 2026 is right around the corner. It's coming soon, guys. And then again, the final completion is in April, late April. So we're really trying to move things along. We just finished the chair rodeo last month. It's like forever. Yeah, last month. And I think they're gonna bring those suggestions that y'all had forward to in a contract to council, so we can place an order for those furnishings. And then we'll start giving weekly updates on the construction of that and our city's weekly report. So I don't know. Do y'all know about the weekly report? I think we talked about it last time.
Yes.
Again, just the CAS partnership that we have, that they provide many things, of course. But more for expanded programming, shared resources for sure, increased engagement, increased accessibility, just because. And it'll be a community location eventually, like at 1500 DC, for people, whenever we move into the new building. And then sustainability, just continuing to deliver great quality programs. So that's just for our CAS partnership. And again, we're doing that, we're moving in together, to our 1500 AC Lane, facility, whenever it opens. Last meeting we had was on November 6th to talk about, again, through the agreement, going back and forth, we'll continue to have that. And so they're finalized, I think right now we have a lot of their feedback, and we'll draft them and then give them to the city secretary office, just to really not formalize it, just to put it in its layout that it needs to, and then we'll send it off for CAS, so y'all can review, and again, we're going back and forth, so nothing's finalized. Now it's just more a real draft that we continue to go off of and continue to edit. Next meetings that we have with them is December 11th and December 8th. And again, just to keep it short and sweet, this is where you can find all the different programs and services that's happening with City Kyle, so you can see the ones that are multi-generational, or ones that are for you, or if you want anyone that you want to take your grandkids to, if you have any. So you can look on our city events calendar. Again, you can follow us on the Park and Rec page. I believe Library has a Facebook as well, and the regular city page. So the Facebook, also Instagram to look for programs and events. And again, city weekly reports. Those are great tools to get up-to-date news on, in general, City of Kyle. And then Kyle Area 3 News Zone, they have their webpage as well. And this is their calendar. They're busy.
Wow.
They got a busy week this week. Huh?
Yeah, we do.
Eddie, like, I need my Red Bull. I don't know where is it. And so, I know all of y'all are, have a lot going on. For sure, the highlights is the luncheons.
Yes,
You want to talk about that real quick?
we have our Thanksgiving luncheon tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
We expect to feed, which we did last year, 125 people. Not all at one time, because I'm not allowed that many in the building. But we are looking really forward to it. The Knights of Columbus, they cook the turkey, the cranberry. And then we have volunteers that have Orchard Park and Pam Health and all them bringing in the pies and the green beans and the stuffing and stuff.
That, busy, they're
It
busy.
starts
Yeah.
at 12, but the entry is at 10:30.
And I guess to reiterate, if you can see that week of Thanksgiving, there's no programming happening because they're out, right? You don't have any programs happening that week?
That week of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
No, you have the building.
Okay,
The city has the building.
to make sure they all know that.
And why does the city have a building?
We share it with the city.
I know,
When they-
so
They're gonna do all for the lighting and everything for Santa on December 1st. They prepare for
Beautiful.
Santa's arrival.
I assume it's the first one, so. I
Oh,
heard
it's really,
I heard.
it's really
Oh, you
nice.
seen the Christmas lights?
Oh.
It's breathtaking.
Oh, you missed out. You gotta see Santa. Does Santa come with a parachute? He used to do that a long time ago.
I think he came in on a fire truck last year.
They lit the lights at 6
Okay.
o'clock.
I'll be there.
Yeah, he came in the fire truck last year.
He came in on a fire truck.
The Grinch is there.
A fire, oh, shit.
Is it the
The
Grinch there?
Grinch will be there. I think.
Because he came running through our lunch. We saw this big green thing come running through people when he goes out the back.
Hilarious. Last year they arrested him
I heard.
on the stage and it was always a hoot. So he's already started his online stuff
I saw. It's so good.
in the city.
Don't they go through the neighborhoods and he's in a jail?
Yeah,
In a truck?
yeah, with lights and, I mean, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll probably think of something different. Another gonna be crazy this year. The local food assistance programs, with Hayes County Food Bank, these are their distribution areas. And so, they have Pine Choice Market and that's by appointment only. And all this is I found on the website, so you can, and I can send that link if y'all would like to share that, but there's distribution sites is, they have one on Tuesday and it's at St. Anthony's and then the first Wednesday of the month. Only distribution that's in Wimberley and then Thursday, City of Buda. And then they have the Central Texas Food Bank Mobile Pantry. I think you just have to confirm like just the scheduling to make sure they make any changes on that website. But it's on the third Saturday of the month. And they do at the ACC Hayes campus off of the Kohler's, no. Is that the name of the street? Kohler's?
Kohler's Crossing.
Okay, just looking familiar. Past the Public Safety Center. And then, also they do senior nutrition wellness programs and you can tell they do it at the creek sometimes.
Yes, we'll make a meal for geared to if you're diabetic, or if you have blood pressure, or if you have something, so they're healthy meals.
And low cost. That to me is always the part. Low cost.
I have a question about the food pantry, since they changed it to once a month. Has that affected anybody that you know of?
It did, some of the people that we know of, but we were able to connect them in other avenues of food, so they have other options.
It was just a huge change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's a big change because food stamps are not given for the month of November. So there's more people than actually before.
And then these are upcoming board meetings, Monday, December 15th. And then January 26th, and then February 23rd. All right.
That's a mess.
Oh.
Any questions, feedback?
I would just like to say this feels a lot more productive than.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
for hearing that last time and I appreciate it.
Gotcha. Thank you for the grace. I know it's like a
Much better.
new and we're still learning too.
We accomplished a
I would like it, yeah.
lot of,
Okay. Yeah, are we ready to adjourn?
Yes.
Do I have any
Make a
motion to
motion.
adjourn? Okay,
Second.
okay. Second, everyone says yes.
Amen.
I say yes. We're adjourned.
Are you guys opposed? No? Okay.
Nobody's opposed.
And then second one says yes.
Same, yes.
Okay. Take care.
So we're adjourning at 10:32.
All right, thank you guys.